Well, there's been an alarming increase of drug and substance abuse at schools across the country, and this has forced some school principals to test pupils on a daily basis. Well, this frequent testing at both private and public schools has revealed an increased number of students taking drugs. Some schools have been forced to seek assistance from drug rehab centres. Despite the grave concern, the random testing at some of these schools has been met with concern. Some feel that drug testing could well violate established principles of how educators and parents can best promote healthy choices among adolescents, especially those identified as at risk or high risk. Well, Quinton van Kerken is the South African chief executive of the country's anti-drug alliance. He conducts frequent drug tests and searches at schools in Gauteng and the Western Cape. Quinton joins us via Skype now. Let's see if we've got him on Skype.
I'm here. How are you?
Good afternoon, Quinton. Thank you for your time on the News Today desk. Substance abuse skyrocketing to frightening levels on our school campuses. What kind of drug use are we looking at in our schools right now, Quinton?
It also just very much depends on the area, but what we're finding there's a lot of crystal methamphetamine, which is TIC, and we're also seeing a lot of cat. Dacha is very low, strangely enough. It's one of the lower drugs that we're finding. But it's the hard drugs. A lot of, as I said, cat, crystal meth, and alcohol is a major player as well.
Quinton, last year we saw joint operations, for example, with the Sophia Town SAPS and the Gauteng Education of Department that happened at the Westbury High School. But is policing of our schools the answer right now? Because students will just go ahead and use drugs outside of the school premises. Are we actually tackling the root causes of the drug scourge?
Yeah, police, I really don't agree with raiding schools, etc., for drugs, etc. I think what we have to look at is, realistically, is education programs. Let's educate the kids. Let's actually show them what the problems are with drugs, where drugs can lead. Arresting children just isn't going to do it. As you said, they're going to do it outside of school. So let's rather give them a situation where they are learning. Let's educate them at school about drugs and addiction. It makes it makes more sense to do that.
Of course, Quinton, I agree. A strong community mobilization campaign and to get the right kind of political support is almost the only way to get the action we need here. But when we have arrests of this nature, it's still only the peddlers or the runners we can get at. How do we get around the fear of reprisals by those who would want to come forward with information but are just afraid to?
You know, that's an age-old question that we've been fighting for a very long time, the fear of reprisal. What I say to that often is there are a lot more of us than there are of them. If a gangster says, oh, he's going to get you, remember he has to get you, your whole family, your friends, your whole community. It boils down to numbers. There are so many more people available to fight the scourge, and yet there's a few drug dealers that are just keeping everybody hostage. So I think we need to mobilize ourselves as a community and say enough is enough and actually put our foot down.
Quinton, very quickly, another interesting dynamic is that in certain neighborhoods, the drug lord himself, he's protected by community members as he often provides aid. He helps in terms of financial aid or favors, and it's a kind of perverse loyalty almost. And it's not easy to break this cycle, to counter crime, is it?
No, it's not. We see this very often with drug lords actually stepping in, taking a fatherly role in the community, where they actually support the community financially, buy food, clothing, educate the kids, etc., etc. It's becoming very clear, and this is where a lot of people start getting a bit iffy when I say this, but it's becoming very clear that the only way to get the money out of organized crime's hands, like drug lords, is to actually look very seriously at the way that our law is going at the moment, and perhaps something like legalization could actually take the money out of the drug lords' hands and put it back into government coffers.
All right, Quinton, now we're entering a new conversation, one that I don't have time for right now, but thank you so much for your time on the News Today desk.